there hasn't been just one war in Iraq. There have been 5 wars in Iraq. And that first one, the shooting war, was just the first. And it had its own dynamic, and it had its own risks that were involved for soldiers and for Marines and for me and for other people who were witnessing it and experiencing it. And by all accounts, I think military historians believe it was a successful military strategy. The 21-day march to Baghdad, the left hook, pulling down the statue, it happened quickly. The Iraqi army didn't really fight. And when it did fight, was defeated quite convincingly. But then we quickly went into a second war. And that second war was mostly calm. It was a period of nation building. And it was a period when Iraqis didn't know what to expect. And when troops first arrived, they were welcomed. I saw myself Iraqis come out and give soldiers bottles of whiskey. And they were happy. And they were very excited that there was a prospect of a new future without Saddam Hussein, and people could dream to have a future. Because if you lived under Saddam and you planted potatoes or onions, you didn't think much about your future, and you did your thing and you raised your children. But if you were a student and you wanted to found a newspaper and you wanted to start a career and raise your head above the sand, your prospects for doing that without getting your head chopped off were very, very low. So there was an excitement. And it lasted roughly a year when a constitution was being prepared for and written, when elections were being, the groundwork for elections was being set, and people in Iraq were waiting back, sitting back and seeing what this new project would be. What does democracy really mean? Is this going to help? In April 2004, it changed, and we entered the third war. And suddenly, there was an insurgency, and it happened quickly. It didn't happen overnight, but there was a definite turning point in April 2004, when suddenly a group of people from the former military, because in this nation-building phase, in War II, there were many mistakes that were made that were only to become very obvious quite quickly. The chief of the biggest mistake has often been cited as the dissolving of the Iraqi army. And the insurgency begins, war number 3.